The band Poison put it best. It ain't nothing but a good time. Ace Nation, I am longtime independent wrestling fan Robert. Collision Course 2019 was a great kick-ass, awesome show and a great lead-in to Crossroads 15, which will be discussed later in this very video. The action begins with singles competition as Irish Crush Connor Riley did battle with Ace Pro Wrestling's longtime journeyman William Wyeth. As Wyeth was standing on the apron, he had pulled a chain out of his gear, and Connor tried to back suplex Wyeth into the ring, and Wyeth popped him with his chain-wrapped fist, and Wyeth ended up defeating Connor to pick up the victory. Next up was tag team action, as we see Job Security, Ronnie Moses and Malcolm Moss do battle with The Throne. I apologize for forgetting their individual names since they debuted at Anarchy last month. The Throne picked up the victory, defeating Job Security. I wonder what happened to the tag team Anarchy that was initially penned to face The Throne at this very show. Meaning, I wonder why they didn't show up. Next matchup, we see Darius Carter defeat Ryan Clancy. Then it was grudge match time as Jurassic Juggernaut Vince Steele did battle with El Charro Barriqua Jr. Steele ended up hitting Charro with a big splash and pinned him to pick up the win. Not content with the victory, Steele comes back into the ring, hits Charro with two more big splashes, then climbs the top rope, hitting a diving headbutt, and as a result, referee Tony reversed the decision where Charro had won the match on a disqualification, and after, unfortunately for Charro, he did not regain the championship belt that belonged to his late father that Steele apparently still has possession of. Speaking of championships, it was time for the first title match of the evening, official title match of the evening, as the in-ring return Brooklyn Outlaw Mike Donovan did battle with Mario Boccara, and a very good matchup which saw Boccara defeat Donovan by submission to retain the championship. But then Darius Carter hits the ring, he attacks Boccara with the championship belt, takes Bocara's Croatian flag and drops it over his face, and Darius says to Boccara, "I'll see you at Crossroads." At that point they did go to intermission, and I got to meet El Charro Barriqua Jr., who was there with his wife, and Charro said he was glad to meet me. And Charro, I gotta say, I sure hope you stick to having Godsmack's "I Stand Alone" as your entrance music. That kick-ass song. I don't know if anyone else in wrestling ever used it for music, but I hope you stick with that one, man. Next up, it was, the show resumed with the second half of the show, which we saw the Dukes, Ricky and Aiden, defend the tag team championship against the Great Scots, Kyle Angus and Joe Scott. And during the match, Brooklyn Outlaw Mike Donovan came through the curtain. Aiden, who was attacked by Donovan last month at Anarchy, he left the ring and forgot all about the match, leaving Ricky by himself, and the Great Scots hit Ricky with a double team maneuver, and the Great Scots end up defeating the Dukes to become the new Ace Pro Wrestling Tag Team Champions. Next up was a singles competition as we see the Trash with the Stash, Bam Sullivan, as he took on the Deathmatch Asgardian Stockade. Just before entering the ring, Bam notices me, he says, "Really?" and gave me a sight for the bird watchers. During the match between Stockade and Bam, they're out on the floor. Stockade notices this one man with two prosthetic legs. Stockade takes one of those prosthetic legs, and Stockade attempted to violate Bam with it. And eventually they were back in the ring, and Bam was dishing out punishment, and Stockade gave Bam a sight for the bird watchers. And eventually Stockade put Bam away with a spear to pick up the victory. Next up, it was another championship matchup as we saw Mouse defend the Fight for Flight Championship against the debuting Casey Lycan and the returning Tommy Vex, who of course still comes out to Britney Spears' Baby One More Time, and Mouse ended up defeating Lycan and Vex to retain the Fight for Flight Championship. Then it was main event time. As the Concrete Rose, Sonny Kiss challenged Lance Anoa'i for the Heavyweight Championship in what was to be Sonny Kiss's final match, since he's now a part of All Elite Wrestling. Eventually, Mike Donovan and Job Security come out. Donovan attacks both Sonny and Lance. Lance takes the microphone and he says, this is Sonny's final night. We're not ending it this way. How about the three of you face the two of us right now? The match was on, and eventually Donovan ended up on the floor with Lance, and Donovan rammed Lance into the ring post right in front of me. And then eventually the Deathmatch Asgardian Stockade, he comes out, making it a 6-man tag team match, and Sonny ended up tagging Stockade into the match, and I forgot how it ended. I remember. Sonny Kiss did a move from the top rope, and he ended up pinning one half of Job Security to win the match. As Stockade and Sonny are celebrating the win, Lance attacks Stockade and tells him he doesn't deserve to be champion, and then he leaves the ring. Then most of the rest of the competitors earlier in the show, they come out, and even Mike Morgan had some flowers for Sonny Kiss, being that it's his home state, and New Jersey is his home state, and that it was his final night with Ace Pro Wrestling. That Sonny, thanked everybody, and turned out Sonny Kiss won his first ever championship in Ace Pro Wrestling, the Fight for Flight title, and I was there for that back in 2015. And eventually, after Sonny left the ring, the boss, Mike Morgan, says, "Okay, let's talk about Crossroads now." And he announced the main event, where it will be Lance Anoa'i defending his championship, the heavyweight championship, against the Deathmatch Asgardian Stockade, and returning to Ace Pro Wrestling for the first time in over a decade, former NWA World Heavyweight Champion, former WCW United States Heavyweight Champion, former WWF Hardcore Champion, and the very former ECW Television Champion. Well, let me rephrase that. The last ECW World Television Champion and the very last ECW Heavyweight Champion. That is quite an impressive resume, folks. The Man Beast, the War Machine, Rhino. That was quite an announcement. I'm glad at least one match got announced for Crossroads. But now it's time for personal notes. Welcome back Ryan Peterson, who missed Anarchy last month. Welcome back Crystal, who hasn't been to a show in quite some time. I know you can't make it too often, Crystal. Hope you make Crossroads 15, November 16th. Great seeing Denise. Oh, Denise, at the risk of sounding rude, those hamburgers were not hot at the time I was eating them. I don't know if they were cooked way before the crowd showed up or what the deal was. Great seeing Kenny. Great seeing Omar. I'm shocked he came to this show. I forgot there was another guy who usually frequents Pro Wrestling Magic. I forgot his name. He was there. It's great seeing, Margie, Cheyenne, Classic Mikey D, Mike Morgan, of course, who makes the promotion possible. As I was telling Kenny during intermission, I think the crowd for this show was a little bigger than Anarchy last month. Well, I want to say right now, I'll start right now. As mentioned earlier, Ace Pro Wrestling presents their biggest show of the year, Crossroads 15. Quite an accomplishment. Crossroads 15. as 15, which is taking place from the Knights of Columbus in Wallington, New Jersey on Saturday night, November 16th. As mentioned earlier, Lance Anoa'i will be defending his heavyweight championship against the deathmatch Asgardian Stockade and Rhino. I would like to see Mario Bocaro defend the Diamond Division Championship against Darius Carter. I would like to see a return bout between El Charo Boricua Jr. and the Jurassic Juggernaut Vince Steele. I'd like to see, well, I don't know, maybe the Dukes and a partner against Mike Donovan and Job Security, or the Dukes against Job Security. Well, another match that's definitely happening at Crossroads, which is the Crossroads tradition, the Chance of a Lifetime Rumble, which had a lot of bodies in there last year. Hopefully there'll be a lot of bodies again this year. Oh, baby, oh boy. I know he doesn't wrestle very often, but I hope Rob Vegas will be on this show. Ace Pro Wrestling historian Adolfo. I hope you'll make this show, considering, you know, you and your son ended up sitting next to me for last year's Crossroads. I hope you make this one, because this is the biggest show of the year. Well, I just hope that will be. Yeah, I'm sure there'll be a lot of matches signed and announced in the next 2 months between now and Crossroads 16. I'm 15, sorry, which is on November 16th. By the way, Mike Morgan, I sure hope Crossroads doesn't end too late like it did last year, because last year I had the show ran past 11 o'clock, and I ended up missing the final 160 NJ Transit bus of the night, and I had to walk all the way to Passaic and take one of those mini buses back to New York City, and that meant more money out of the pocket. Let me see. I'm trying to think of something else here. I can't really pinpoint what else will be happening on Crossroads. One memorable quote: "The only Tony I know is the Tiger, and he's great." Vince Steele, when the crowd was chanting for Ref Tony. Ref Jamal Jackson did well too. And by the way, again, this is like the second Ace show in a row without Christopher Shady Torres. I wonder if he'll be back or not. Damn it, who else can I think of here? Okay. Yeah. Well, again, this would be one heck of a show, and oh, by the way, and I hope for a really big crowd, because you know this particular crowd, Collision Course, was very into this show, and I also have to say, because I certainly want to use my megaphone, which is much bigger than the megaphone Job Security brings to the ring. Also, I don't know if anybody remembers long ago that I used to wear something to Ace shows and other indie shows for that matter. Ace Nation, Ace Pro Wrestling. do I bring back this very hat? Let me know, folks. And, ow. Ace, oh man. Ace Pro Wrestling, man, always a great time over there. Ace, 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 Ace.